Hey everyone, Paulie here from HardDrive Radio, and I am just delighted to be joined in the studio today by Mike Mushok and Adam Gontier of Saint Asonia. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by to see us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. Very excited. You guys are gearing up for a new album. New music is on the way. And I kind of want to start with, you got a couple lineup changes, some new faces in the band, although not new to you guys. Tell us about Cale and Sal and bringing them into the band.
Well, I think, Corey's awesome. Corey Lowry, he was out touring with Seether for quite a while, and I think it was a sort of a natural evolution for him to pick up a guitar in that band and help those guys out. So at the same time, Cale was, available. His band, Art of Dying, wasn't, they're not too busy. They weren't busy or anything. So, yeah, it just seemed like the right thing. Cale and I have always we've played music together as long as I can remember. So it's one of those things that probably should have happened ages ago, but yeah. So now now he's in the band. It's pretty awesome. Nice. And
we brought in Sal, who I've obviously known for a lot of years and played with Stained, and he just seemed to make sense to come in and did a great job on the record, as did Cale. I mean, it's actually rehearsals and stuff have been a lot of fun.
I imagine, since you've played with these guys for years, normally it's kind of, a bit of an adjustment having new guys in the band, but I'm sure for you guys it's like putting on a, pair of comfortable shoes that just been with you the whole time, right?
Well, I think, the guys know all the parts and know how to play, and they're professionals. So yeah, it makes it that much easier for sure. But I think no matter, whenever you get somebody, if somebody new, you just start playing with somebody new, there's always a bit of a learning curve and just getting that vibe or whatever. But yeah,
but everybody's super cool. Like I said, even when we were making the record and hanging out, it was everybody got along great, and it was everybody did what they're supposed to do, and yeah, it went really well.
So let's talk about making the record. You guys are all busy, you're always doing things, so it's not like you've been sitting around and they're like, maybe I'll get there. But like, where's the point where you just you woke up and you were like, all right, it's time? When did that happen?
Yeah, I think it happened about 30 times over the last. It's been a while, right? It's been close. 4 years or whatever since the first record. But yeah, we've all had lots going on, a lot of stuff happening, and personal lives and all that stuff. So we needed a bit of time to deal with that and take care of home life.
I'd say towards the end of last year is when things really kind of started. We'd been sending songs back and forth, and we had songs, and finally it was like, okay, first of the year we're gonna really buckle down and get this done. That's when we got into a room, actually started playing together rather than just sending stuff back and forth, and putting everything together, and book some studio time, and there you go.
Now, Mike, I'm sure you have like just a pile of riffs, sitting around ready to go. Like, when you're ready to start writing, are you delving into that, or are you just like starting fresh and going?
It's kind of a little bit of both. Some of these things have been kicking around. Some of the things I'd sent Adam before, and then when you get together and you start playing, you come up with some other ideas as well. So it's kind of a little bit of both that comes together. And Adam had some great songs as well that he brought to the table.
Is it primarily just the two of you guys doing most of the songwriting for this album?
For the most part, yeah, primarily. We did go outside, work with a few different people. We, obviously Sully and Dustin Bates from Starset.
Oh, no way.
Part of this record, a little bit part of a song. And so it was really cool. We did, we actually wrote some with Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin as well. So yeah, a couple outside writers, but yeah, primarily Mike and myself. But it's always cool to sit down with guitars and sort of, get different ideas from different people too.
So when you have, the good bulk of the songs written, where you want it, as many as you want to do, you're looking for a studio. Where do you go to record this?
Well, we had a producer that we're working with that has a studio at his house. Right. So basically, most of it was done there. I'd say 95%, other than drums. Drums, you need a proper studio. So, I'm based out of Connecticut. The producer's lives outside of the city. So we ended up finding a studio actually in Connecticut when these guys were here, and we rehearsed in Mass. So we kind of keep it on the East Coast. Being Toronto's, it's an easy flight. Sal lives in upstate New York, so it's an easy drive. So we kind of keep it somewhat centered in this, in this area. So there was a studio in Connecticut we used for drums, and then everything else has been at the producer Brian's studio. I did all my guitars there. We did bass there, vocals. So yeah, everything's been done there.
Who's the producer, Brian?
Brian Sperber's his name.
Okay.
Yep.
And how do you know him?
I worked with Brian. He was the engineer on Chapter 5 when we did that. Oh, okay. And he played he was very helpful in getting that record finished and completed. He worked with Dave Bottrell on that. And when we were talking about trying to find producers, and I'd worked with Brian on a couple other things after that, and what Adam was describing he wanted, I said, Brian could be a good guy to, to do this. So we got together, and Adam really liked him. So that was really kind of what led to that. Yeah.
Adam, what is it, what qualities do you look for in a producer that you want to work with?
Well, it definitely somebody that obviously is knowledgeable. I think the biggest thing for me is somebody who's going to like push me vocally and try to set the bar, when I go in to cut vocals and sing and write lyrics and stuff, just somebody that, sets the bar a little bit higher and is always sort of pushing me. And that's kind of tough to find. I mean, I've done a lot of recording with guys. There's a lot of guys that will just tell you great, and that was great, and this is great, and you're great, and the song's great, and this and that, right? So it's nice to have somebody that doesn't blow sunshine up your ass and tells you, when you got to re-sing something or, that sort of thing. So Brian is that type of guy.
But he's not going around, he's not coming on Talkback saying that sucked.
No.
Sometimes.
Really.
Maybe not to you.
Well, yeah, you got it. He's not.
You have a little bit as ability as I do. I mean, you might hear that from time to time.
Yeah, right.
He's just not pressing the talkback button, so I'm not hearing it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Gotta insulate you from that.
Right.
So the first single that we get to hear from you guys is a song called "The Hunted." Can you just tell me a little bit about what went into that song, and maybe where your heads were at when you were writing it?
Well, the song's cool. I mean, I think we experimented with it during the making of the first record, sort of, but we decided, I don't know. I mean, it was the song that Mike had for a long time, like the riff and the.
Yeah, I had written, Sully and I had, actually, what was funny is really that song and some other things that ended up being on the first Saint Asonia records really kind of what led to this band. I mean, after, Stain stopped playing, I was like, like you said, I had all this music, and I don't sing, This is the only time I hold a microphone. They keep them away from me.
Do you want to sing?
No. No. So I was just writing songs and trying to write with different singers. And Sully was one, we're friends. So I asked him, so we did this song. And Adam was another one that I was writing with amongst some other guys. I was going to do one of those, guitar player with all different singer kind of things, But Adam didn't have a band, so that's what led to, and I've always loved what Adam did, so that's what led to Saint Asonia. Once we started writing together, it was like, oh, this is cool,
So now you've mentioned, Sully. Sully is on the track. He sings on the track. When you guys are finally recording this, and do you have to call him up, like, hey man, remember that song that we were working on like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
You still want to do it?
Yeah. Well, we actually had him re-sing some of the parts. We changed the key of it a little bit. We changed some of the parts around. So I mean, it got a facelift. Nice. From where it was. Yeah.
I think I saw a video of it was you and him backstage, like jamming some Doobie Brothers or something like that.
Oh, we did. You know what? That was for Aaron's benefit that he did. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. We were learning a bunch of different covers. We did like Rolling Stones, Doobie. Yeah, all these. Yeah.
What Doobie song was it?
It
was. Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah,
we should cover that.
Let's do it.
Speaking of which, did you guys record any cover songs for the album?
No.
We didn't.
No, we didn't. No. Yeah. No, it's something we always like to do, but this time around it was we're focused on.
It's so hard picking a song.
It really is.
And all the great songs, it seems like everybody does cover songs. Mm-hmm. So it's like you find a great song, it's like, oh, somebody did that.
Yeah.
You gotta like dig real deep and find like obscure songs that nobody will know.
Right.
And then when they ask,
but then you don't want to
like,
do
when you
that.
wrote this song, you're like, that's a cover, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Five Finger's great at that, covering songs.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to be the cover kings. Like, yeah, I was thinking Blue on Black would be a great song to cover eventually, and then like a week later there it was. And I was like, that's cool, right on.
Isn't that what happened to you guys too with the?
It did. Yep.
Yeah, the Phil Collins cover, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
bad timing.
I mean, a dime was on it. What are you going to do? I mean, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
it's
you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you guys both did a really good job, and it was one of my favorite songs growing up when I was a kid.
Yeah, no,
like,
me
listening
too.
to Phil Collins.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good to see people still, paying tribute to music of that era.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's some great stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't have any of the details yet. Can you tell us the album title, and can you tell us maybe when it's coming out?
The date we're not sure of yet, just because we're in the final stages of mixing and mastering and stuff. But I mean, within a couple months, I would think, roughly.
Yeah.
I hope.
Record guy's right there.
Yeah,
Ask
he's
him.
right
I
there.
don't
Ask
know.
him.
What do you say, Tim? Couple months?
Yeah, there you
That's the
go.
official word.
Yeah.
100 months. Some months.
Title yet, or are we keeping that under wraps?
Yeah, no. The title of the record is called "Flawed Design."
Ah.
And it's. I think it's a good. There's a song on the record called "Flawed Design," and it just made sense. The idea of this record really kind of looks into just personal things, struggles, trying to be possibly somebody you're not, striving to be things, and just realizing that. Yeah, right on. Cool. My Siri just thought I was talking to her. It says call Brian. So anyway, the record's called Flawed Design. So there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any plans yet for touring and stuff? I'm sure you guys are going to go out, but I'm sure that's all very preliminary at this point. But do you know any ideas?
Not really sure right now.
Nothing's confirmed yet, but yeah, definitely. I mean, the idea's kind of just been to get this finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a journey, but we're there's light at the end there, so we're all stoked to just be able to get it out.
Mike, what would you say your most challenging moment was for this record?
Jeez.
Was there like one solo that was like maybe just like punishing?
Oh, playing wise like that?
Yeah. Or anything really.
Well, I mean, the biggest challenge was that it was like an hour and a half every day back and forth to New York. That was my challenge, dealing with traffic and that commute. And I finished my tracks actually on Monday, and we had taken, because he has work to do, so I was off for a couple of weeks, and I literally had like a couple of acoustic things to do and one part to write. And we finished that up. So the treks back and forth to New York was probably, but as far as the playing wise go, I mean, the way we did this, I mean, and this is kind of different for me anyways, was that, I mean, everything was pretty well demoed out, because of the time that we had. So like, even like all the secondary guitar parts were written. I had solos. I mean, all that stuff was kind of, figured out. So it was just really kind of going in and replaying it, so it wasn't too bad.
How about you, Adam? What was the most challenging part for this album?
Well, it's been really great so far. It hasn't been overly challenging, I don't think. Maybe just having to work at stuff, writing songs remotely and coming up with parts and trying to get them to Brian in time for him to maybe, look at them and get them in the track and that sort of thing. So just, being in Toronto, I guess the same type of thing, just having to work long distance maybe on some stuff. But in general, the process has been really awesome, really great.
There was one thing I did want to ask you about. You have a very unique microphone stand. And I've always wanted to ask you about it. I've never had the opportunity because I think you've had it for a while now. But, it's this cool, like, Terminator skeletal hand looking thing.
Yeah.
Where did you get that? It is the coolest thing.
I actually got it made. It was made by an artist here in New York. His name's Christopher Conte. And he's an artist that works a lot with stainless steel stuff and does a lot of biomechanical looking stuff. And he had it on his website. It was something that he had already made, and I saw it, and I just said that would be a killer mic stand. So I reached out to him, and he made a couple copies of it for me, and that's it. Yeah. So I've had it for a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm glad you're still using it because it's freaking cool, man.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, I love it.
Before we wrap up here, one of the things we always like to ask the artists we have on the show, or for what we call the Spinal Tapian moments, we're just looking for those stories from the road where everything just goes hilariously wrong. And I'm sure between the two of you, you've probably got a pile of these stories, but maybe just like something that sticks out in your mind of just like one times, like maybe if you got, lost backstage, or, somebody got left on the side of the road when the bus stopped for gas, or just anything.
I mean, getting lost backstage, it would be, it's, I think I got lost all the time. So it'd be better to tell you a time that I didn't get lost backstage. But I don't know. I mean, there's been lots of crazy stuff, and there's always interesting fans and that sort of thing. Really touring in Russia, when I've gone over there, I mean, we spent time over there as a band, but I went over there doing some solo stuff, and the whole vibe over there is crazy. There's people, meeting you at airports and standing outside your hotel with signs and yelling up at you.
Right, you wake up on a train, you open your shade, and there's like a dozen people standing outside. Oh,
yeah.
Morning.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There was the prosthetic leg guy that always comes up, in the past.
Yeah.
Having to autograph dude's fake leg. I don't know. What do you got, Mike?
I don't know. I mean, I got a bunch of them. The time that the record company came to a show and they're on the side stage, and I went down and the whole back of my pants ripped out, so I had to back up against my amps, and this was insane. And I said to Aaron, "You got to do an acoustic song. I got to go change." So yeah, I did that. And at the time we were playing Reading Festival, I went to start, and my whole rig didn't work, and we couldn't get it working, and we ended up doing an acoustic set. And we wanted to do like the heaviest set possible. That sucked. That was not fun. 50,000 people in here.
It actually just reminded me of something.
And we plugged it in backstage, and it worked fine. But literally tried everything. It was making this crazy sound. And it was like, yeah, that was not fun. But at least we were able to adapt. But we saved it. But yeah, that was not fun.
Actually, I just recalled something. When 3 days when we were showcasing here in New York City, we played a show at Irving Plaza, and it was a big deal. And labels were there, management, just a lot of industry people were there, and I was trying to put on a great, awesome show. And I was jumping up and down, running back in stage like I do sometimes, and I tripped over. Me and Brad, my bass player, hit kind of leg to leg, hip or whatever, and I fell forward into the monitors, and I basically, I almost went into the pit there, but I fell forward, landed on my face, and then pushed myself back up, almost like I was doing a push-up or something. But I was super embarrassed because I fell. I basically had fallen in front of all the industry people that I was trying to impress. So moments like that are a little sketchy.
Actually, let's kind of talk about that for a minute. For maybe the younger bands watching, is there any like little bits of advice that you'd want to give that maybe you thought somebody told you when you were first starting out that you'd maybe want to share?
Go to college.
Don't quit school to join a band? What? I thought that was the dream.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, I think just really sticking it out, because before I originally got signed with 3 days, we were on the edge of just kind of doing our own, day jobs and not doing music anymore. And it was within a week that we just played a show, met the right person, and then we were off. So, if you love to do it, just not giving up. As much as, as cliche as it sounds, and however many times you hear it, it is the truth.
It's just hard work.
It is a lot of hard work.
It's just hard work and believing in yourself, and you just keep, if you want it, you just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Meeting people, and hopefully you find the right person that can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Sound advice. Gentlemen, thank you so much. The band is Saint Asonia. Track is The Hunted.